Hello my grandbabies, Don here, your pop culture boy, aka your pop culture coordinator. I like that. For this video, I want to do something a little bit different. Something along the line of a little bit risky. I've been hearing a certain word get thrown around on the net a lot of late, particularly by a specific group of people known as conspiracy theorists. And while I wouldn't consider myself a conspiracy theorist, I love to indulge in a bit of conspiracy every now and then to get the juices flowing. Also, I feel like after 2019, everyone is now on some level of conspiracy theorist in comparison to prior. Anyway, the word I've been hearing a lot recently is psyop. Now, if you don't know what a psyop is, you've probably been a victim of its influence on multiple occasions. Psyop is short for psychological operations, and according to Wikipedia, the most trusted source for information on the internet, the term is used to denote any action which is practiced mainly by psychological methods with the aim of evoking a planned psychological reaction in other people. Various techniques are used and are aimed at influencing a target audience's value systems, belief system, emotions, motives, reasoning, or behavior. It is used to induce confessions or reinforce attitudes and behaviors favorable to the originator's objectives, and are sometimes combined with black operations or false flag tactics. It is also used to destroy the morale of enemies through tactics that aim to depress troops' psychological states. To sum it up, psychological warfare. With that in mind, and me looking deeper into the term, or operation rather, I came up with the most genius idea yet, never been replicated by man, which is to twist this meaning for my own selfish desires in the making of this video and apply it to entertainment in relation to musical artists. There are some artists who I can't help but attach this narrative of psyop to, and how during their reign I was just manipulated thinking they are of high quality or thinking they were the shit to now seeing them in a downgraded light. And I want to explore that for this video. This video is about psyop artists and why are they crumbling into little itty bitty tiny pieces. Also, I want to explore how the internet is being dominated by different psyops attached to some of your favorite artists. I am Don.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? Catastrophic.
Currently, the music is going through what I like to call a cleansing. Artists that were once dominating the charts and being accepted as the next set of acts to carry the torch in music, let's say 2 to 3 years ago, are now slowly fading into obscurity, out of sight, out of mind. And while it's nothing new for artists to come and go just like that, however, it's more of a rarity for acts who were accepted by the people to get dropped by the people within a short span of discovery after they were initially hyped up. Now, I believe during the pandemic, a lot of us were craving entertainment and were willing to be entertained by anyone who gave us bops. But as the pandemic slowly ended and our lives somewhat returned to normalcy, we realized that some of these acts were just a distraction from the fact that the world was ending, but it didn't end. The bar for entry was extremely low or probably non-existent. But by 2023, 2024, our tolerance for mediocrity were restored to its normal levels. I think there's no other artist that mirror a psyop like the one and only Ice Spice. Now, before I talk about our once favorite girl, Ice Spice, I want to say that Ice Spice can release a song tomorrow and literally transport us all back to her Munch era, having everyone praising her again. That being said, looking back, her rise does seem like an operation, seeing a lot of us really allowed, a girl with basic lyrics to thrive in music just because she has a fat ass.
Girl, I want your body.
Now, let's start from the beginning. If you can remember when Ice Spice first arrived on the scene with her song Munch Feeling You in 2022, while the track is a fun bop for many, a lot of people also pushed back on the rapper. Ice, along with the song, was parodied on the internet. The track received many comments clowning her, such as this comment with 79k likes that states, "If Annie never got adopted," or this 19k liked comment, "Music formula, simple beat, simple lyric, big energy, and big ass." And also this comment stating, "This makes me appreciate other music a lot more." So a lot of people did see the signs. But I think it's this, trolling and negativity she experienced early on is what gave her an underdog aura, which is appealing to a lot of people. And who doesn't like cheering for an underdog? Propelling the track even further on TikTok, impacting Billboard's Hot R&B/Hip Hop Songs chart, peaking at number 34. Ice Spice started her career in 2020 after meeting her producer Riot USA the same year, released her debut song in 2021 after going viral from the Busted Challenge on Twitter, and by 2022 she went viral again with her song Munch, so she blew up relatively fast, and in her introduction she relied more on her likeness, her light skin, curvy body, her round derriere. Do people still say derriere? Anyway, while having a marketable image in music sells, love her or hate her, she does fit the female rapper's stereotype, but as I mentioned prior, this was her main selling point as a rapper, rather rapping skills. But she still managed to get a pass, and before y'all say the industry pushed her, y'all pushed her as well, myself included. In short, what I'm saying is each time she went viral back in 2021 and 2022, she was introduced as this over-sexualized figure that delivered casual/lazy raps, and this became her image that she had to uphold, as it would be weird for her to just change when the formula is working. After the success of Munch, the following month she signed a deal with 10K Projects and Capitol Records, and released her next solo single, Bikini Bottom, which further solidified Ice as a casual rapper that is carried by Riot's drill production, with a flow reminiscent of Pop Smoke, who passed away 2 years prior. Despite Ice's shortcomings, she was seen as a promising artist in 2023, securing major features from Nicki Minaj on Barbie World from the Barbie film soundtrack and on Princess Diana remix, where Nicki Minaj dubbed Ice the Princess. She was featured on Taylor Swift's Karma and Pink Pantherist's Boy's a Liar Part 2, Pink Panthy. And all of these singles peaked in the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. All of a sudden, Ice became a main player in music, awarded with the Hitmaker Award by Billboard, winning Best New Artist at the VMAs and People's Choice Awards, landing multiple magazine covers talking about manifestation. But as we all know by now, as 2024 rolled out, the Ice Spice psychosis or novelty started wearing off, and her music started smelling like shit. Literally. She dropped her debut album, Y2K, filled with poop and shit lyrics, and that album sold 28K in the first week, after multiple cosigns and Billboard hits. What really set her up, in my opinion, are her features, mainly her Taylor Swift and Nicki Minaj features, as the success of those songs gave this false impression that she was an artist of high quality, when in fact she was in the pre-production stages of her artistry still, which is more on par with an underground niche artist, but she got pushed into spaces she wasn't ready for, and really didn't have the star power to match it, which was and still is really, her image is really just an OnlyFans model who, lucked up. That's how it seems, right? Fast forward to present day, no one cares about her deluxe release, as we are still wondering why did we accept her in the first place, while her drama surrounding her being a bad friend being the reason for some people to drop her, along with the Nicki incident. Ultimately, her music being mediocre is the root cause of her downfall, and this is not to say she cannot bounce back at all, but to be in our good grace again, she has a lot of work to do. The next person who was propped up in music as an artist of high quality, only for now to be seen as an experiment of sorts, is Gayle. And if you're like, who? I'm talking about the ABCDEFU girl. In 2021, that song was everywhere. The track was nominated for Song of the Year at the Grammys. It peaked number 3 on the Hot 100, went 4 times platinum, but in present day, 2025, no one is talking about Gayle. I googled her to see what she was, what she has going on, and I managed to find this 2024 Rolling Stone article titled, Gayle and U2's Larry Mullen Jr. join forces on Between the Lines. Prior to that, I found these older articles from 2022 and 2023. Along with other headlines being mixed in with Gayle King. Hello. So I went over to TikTok to see if anyone was making any content about her, and there was nothing. I found a Glambot video posted by E! News back in 2023, and that was it. If you are still wondering, who is Gayle? Where did she come from? Blah blah. Back in 2021, during her ABCDEFU prime, lots of people asked these same questions, and Homegirl did experience controversy, which might be the reason why her entire arc now seems like a fever dream orchestrated by Freddy Krueger. Now, before we get into her controversy, let's first quickly recant the perception of the singer during her breakthrough. After Gayle saw success with her single ABCDEFU in 2021, the industry had high expectations, and many saw her as the next Gen Z artist who would dominate music, alongside Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo. Olivia Rodriguez.
0 out of 10.
A 17-year-old American singer-songwriter turned overnight pop sensation. It's safe to say that Dallas-hailing Nashville-based Gayle has been the artist on everyone's lips and TikTok For You pages as of late. And there's no doubt that 2022 is looking even brighter for the young star, said Lucy O'Brien from Notion.online in 2022. So she was seen as this star who is on the rise. And she was also touring with a lot of big people like Taylor Swift. Now, let's talk about the controversy. Since Gayle's breakthrough, she got many industry-planned allegations, but these were amplified after TikToker Daniel Wall posted a video about how ABCDEFU organic blow-up on the platform was a result of a marketing strategy, and claimed that we were lied to in regards to the track's quote-unquote organic rise.
Do you know that you were lied to about this song? And this is a massive song on TikTok. And a lot of people are pushing that this song happened because of TikTok. And it definitely blew up because of TikTok. But we gotta talk about what actually happened. And it starts with this video.
I need your help.
Where Gayle asked for song ideas. And she definitely got them. But someone asked, can you write a breakup song using the alphabet?
A, B, C, D, E, F, U.
But if we look at the comment, we'll see this account name. And if we go to this account name, we'll see it's private. But if we look her up on Google, we see her on LinkedIn. In fact, we see her as a digital marketing manager at Atlantic Records. And if we look up Gayle, we'll see that she's actually on Atlantic Records. And even though this was planned, it worked. And there's so many other artists and labels that do this because people love to be a part of something and they love a story they can follow.
Not that her career is completely dead now or anything like that, but I think this started the pushback against Gayle, like the real pushback, because being labeled an industry plant was more of a career killer back then in comparison to now. Granted, still damaging, but more people are now realizing that the industry plant premise is built on shaky foundation, and the term makes less sense as time goes on. But back then, a lot of people took this information as fact, even though Atlantic did confirm, while yes, the marketer is real and does work for the label, the comment, however, was genuine. They also went into detail explaining how it actually never blew up because of that comment, rather a sign language trend months after said comment from the digital marketer was posted. Nonetheless, this made her look like a fraud and an industry plant. And I get it, as it is deceitful if it, was indeed all marketing, but also it's not that deep, as everything is marketing in music. It's just not that deep when compared to the other atrocities taking place behind the scenes of the music industry. And if it is that deep to you, then you need to cancel the entire industry, as nothing is organic. Not just Gayle. I also want to add that some of these people behind the artists, the publicists, the A&Rs, a lot of them are also operating in a perpetual state of anxiety, especially if the artist is new, as they have to do whatever they can to make sure that artist pop off, because if the artist flops, the label might just downsize or completely cut the entire team. Now, I do have some honorable mentions, and my first honorable mention is Drake. And the reason why Drake feels like a psyop to me is in regards to his music not maturing. He's been rapping about the same old shit since 2016, and I can't lie, Kendrick has also influenced this theory, as since the beef, the public has been really questioning Drake's artistry and his character as a human being on a whole. Personally, I don't care about his whole character, but a lot of people are now giving him the side eye and are in disbelief that he was a rapper they once liked or looked up to, or feel like he was of high quality. Like his music is just not that good anymore. But we've been eating it up for so long, and now we've kind of woken up and we're like, nah, Drake, you need to switch it up. Even in his lawsuit, they admit that Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar has made a huge impact on his career in a negative way, in both a social way and monetary way. So Drake is definitely a psyop in my opinion. We consumed shitty music from him for so long and accepted it. And now we're like, huh? What the hell? What the helly? What the hell? What the hoo-ha? What the Drakey-o? What the OVO? Okay, I'm gonna stop. Sexy Red as well. Now, I'm only adding sexy because there are many people who genuinely believe she's a CIA agent hired to like send the entire black community in America straight to hell, which is ridiculous to me. The other day, a parody account on Twitter, Daily Noob, a parody of Daily Loud, the hip-hop outlet, posted a fake story confirming that she's like working for the CIA, and a lot of people took it as confirmation that they were right all along. Not knowing all that account does is troll for engagement. So far, I've talked about how some artists are made to seem like a psyop, and I want to now get into the psychological techniques or tactics that involves your faves and how these psyopish tactics are being used to trigger and influence their audience, and even you. I'm not saying these artists are behind these tactics or techniques themselves, as I have no proof. Rather, their likeness are being attached to psyops, and the ones that clearly are by the artists or their teams. I'm not saying it's their intention to manipulate, rather it seems that way. But before we get into that, I think it'll only be fitting to explore how psyops were used throughout history. And I'm going to try to be censored or vague to not get demonetized, seeing YouTube tried to limit my last video, but I got it reviewed and resolved. Or was that a psyop of my own? In order for a psyop to be successful, it has to be covert, and for one to carry it out, they have to be sly. Take Alexander the Great. In the book The Wisdom of Alexander the Great, Enduring Leadership Lessons from the Man Who Created an Empire by Lance B. Kirk, describes him as being really good at conquering during his glory days of ancient Greece. At age 20, Alexander succeeded his father Philip II to the throne in 336 BC. As king, he spent most of his ruling years conducting a lengthy military campaign throughout Western Asia, Central Asia, parts of South Asia, and Egypt. By age 30, he had created one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Greece to northwestern India. During his rule, currying favor with supporters was the other side of psychological warfare, and an early practitioner of this was Alexander the Great, who successfully conquered large parts of Europe and the Middle East and held on to his territorial gains by co-opting local elites into Greek administration and culture. Alexander left some of his men behind in each conquered city to introduce Greek culture and oppress dissident views. His soldiers were paid dowries to marry locals in an effort to encourage assimilation. In more modern times, different militaries created fake accounts on social media to push certain narratives, disinformation, and spread propaganda. Revealed: U.S. spy operation that manipulates social media. Military's sock puppet software creates fake online identities to spread pro-American propaganda, wrote Nick Fielding and Ian Cobain from The Guardian in 2011. Even in the film Leave the World Behind, that's on Netflix, not sponsored, this is not a psyop, is the prime example of psyops, but the more darker, serious types. That includes multiple forms of psychological warfare, that includes cyber attacks, the use of radiation, propaganda, etc. Good movie, I like it, go watch it. Again, not sponsored, not a psyop. Now, for psyops attached to entertainers. There are so many of them on the net right now, but the more recent ones involves DDG and Halle Bailey. Now, if you absolutely know nothing about these two people, God bless your heart. It means you probably are not chronically online like me, and a strong chance you have a life, but I'm about to ruin that going forward. Recently, Halle Bailey took out a restraining order against DDG, her ex-boyfriend, who is also the father of their son, Halo, accusing DDG of DV and other forms of abuse. According to the Associated Press, in documents requesting the order, Bailey said, "Throughout our relationship, Daryl, who is DDG, has been and continues to be physically, verbally, emotionally, and financially abusive towards me. I am seeking orders to protect myself and our son Halo from his ongoing abuse." In the documents, the actress claims things got physical between us after Granberry, who is DDG, repeatedly insulted her as she strapped the baby into a seat in his car in January. We fought each other, wrestling and tussling, she said. At one point, Daryl was pulling my hair. He then slammed my face on the steering wheel, causing my tooth to get chipped. I then stopped fighting back as I was in a lot of pain. 2 months after the alleged altercation, Bailey alleges that Granberry entered her house when she wasn't home and texted her a photo of her bed along with a threatening message, suggesting she was having sex with other men. A few days later, she claimed Granberry berated her when she did not want to send their unwell baby on a visit with him, then smashed the Ring doorbell camera on her porch when he realized it was recording their confrontation. She further alleged that when she called a relative for help, he took her phone and slammed a car door on her as she was holding the baby. Bailey filed a police report over the incident. As part of the restraining order, Granberry was also instructed not to possess any weapons. The judge can extend the order for up to 5 years at the June 6 hearing. Bailey also requested that Granberry be ordered to stop using his social media platforms to continue bad-mouthing me to his several millions of fans. He claims I am withholding our son and that I am with other men. As a result, I then received threats and hate on social media, she said in the documents. Now here's where the psyops come in. Soon after the restraining order and claims flooded social media, we started seeing posts from accounts pushing narratives that either Halle was also abusive to DDG or she cheated with Brent Faiyaz, who is an R&B singer. And because DDG can't mention her on social media due to the restraining order, all of these clips of different streamers defending DDG were posted online in order to get fans from their communities, who are mostly kids by the way, to side with DDG. And what's ironic is most of these streamers defending him are some of the worst individuals on the net that have horrible reputations. There's also the clip of DDG reacting to the restraining order on stream with Aiden Ross, giving the impression he had no knowledge about the restraining order, prompting Aiden to then start defending him on the stream.
Just don't do it, bro. Come here. Fall back. That's my real friend. We're not gonna do no false shit to ruin the stream. He's a great human being. He does a lot for a lot of people. He's a man. He's a father, and we're gonna respect him. We're gonna love him. WDDG, and anyone got anything to say?
Fuck the fake narratives, my nigga. Stop the bull.
DDG not having prior knowledge about the restraining order is highly unlikely, as when someone files a restraining order, the aggressor will be notified or served as soon as possible. Again, so it's like he knows he can't speak on her at the moment due to, Halle's request in the order, so he's getting streamers to do it for him, trying to look like a victim. And Halle has her own psyops as well, like the time she went online to let everyone know she did not approve DDG including their son on Kai Cenat's stream, trying to get sympathy, getting people emotionally invested and on her side in a situation that has nothing to do with us. It's all manipulation, and while Halle has calmed down with the antics and the tactics, DDG and his minions have been doing the most online by doing whatever they can to paint him as a saint, instead of waiting for the hearing where he will have the opportunity to contest the claims against him. But here he is trying to win in the court of public opinion. There's also the Tory Lanez and Meg's psyops, which is so exhausting at this point. Now, I'm not gonna go into the whole hoopla, as I'm sure you already know. Tory was found guilty of 3 charges for shooting and injuring Megan Thee Stallion in both feet in an incident in the Hollywood Hills on July 12, 2020. Before and after Tory's sentencing, Twitter has been flooded with psyops from both parties and third parties as well, i.e. fan pages, trying to control their narrative while painting the other party as the aggressor through internet posts and covert and not so covert song lyrics. Megan has even accused and is currently suing blogger Milagro Grams, claiming she acts as a paid surrogate for Tory and spreads lies on his behalf. After Tory Lanez was found guilty in 2022, both online users and Tory's dad, Sunstar Peterson, accused Rock Nation, Meg's management, of conspiracy, while other members of Tory's family blamed Beyonce outside the courthouse.
You have children. Let us see. You're making other people see them go to jail.
Tell me how? There's no fingerprints. My God Almighty, I call heaven and earth to be a record today that Rock Nation, you will crumble.
When the prosecutor was not Meg or Rock Nation, but the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. In other words, the state of California. In psych operations, this is what is called a false flag, when the accused or defense team shifts blame onto another party to avoid taking accountability. Let's not forget recently multiple rappers, some having horrible track records, sharing a petition to free Tory Lanez on social media after Tory's team claimed they have new evidence proving Tory is innocent after he was stabbed 14 times in prison on May 12. Evidence they are yet to provide to the courts. Instead, his team, along with his dad, held a press conference to further sway the public. And I'm not saying they can't have new evidence, but you see the tactics at play here? It's all just psychological warfare. Why are psyops in music crumbling? Back in the days, it was a lot harder to spot psyops in entertainment as people just wanted to be entertained and nothing else. Side note, not all psyops are inherently bad per se, especially the ones regarding artists such as Ice Spice. And that's my opinion, doesn't mean that you have to agree with that or, also share that opinion as well. However, in today's age where information is at one's fingertips, it's a lot easier to spot psyops, triggering a response to make more informed decisions before we engage further with entertainment or conflicts within entertainment, such as the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion situation, which is only designed to cause a great divide and to emotionally sway you to a particular side in order to push certain narratives, which can be a waste of time and has no alignment with one's personal needs. They are just trying to sway you so you can push a narrative for them. You become a soldier for them. And yeah, you can look at this video and say, well, isn't that what you're doing, Don? Well, sure. But as I said, not all psyops are inherently bad. And for the most part, I'm just giving you the information as best as I can. Regarding the Tory and Meg situation, regardless of what you or I think, we weren't there. Not that you can't have a response to it, but it's the obsession of taking a side and helping push a narrative that was proven to be false, being done by complete strangers in the situation that is riddled with psyops made to harvest your time and energy. What do you think? I am Don, your pop culture boy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Don't forget to smile.